The silent wreck. For over 5,000 years, the ancient wreck floated in the dark space above the dead planet. It drifted without power, without signal, and without movement. All sensors showed nothing. No heat. No life. Just cold metal. And silence. Many believed it to be a myth. A tale told to scare explorers and pirates. A ghost ship from a forgotten war, one that ended before the current empires even existed, but explorers love old stories. Especially when there's a chance of finding something rare or powerful. A small alien crew from a race called the Telari approached the giant wreck. Their ship was small and nimble, built for scanning and salvage missions. Captain Uran stood at the command console, staring at the screen that showed the wreck in full. It was massive, over 10 kilometers long. Its surface was scratched, scorched, and broken in places. Parts of it were missing. The front looked like it had melted from some ancient energy blast. But even now, it looked dangerous. "That's human design," said one of the crew. "Old style. Maybe even pre-collapse era. Human." Uran frowned. "They vanished thousands of years ago." "Exactly," said the tech. "Which means no one owns this now." The Telari crew didn't understand the warnings that came from history. They didn't know how humans once ended wars with a single ship. They only saw metal and potential. The salvage mission began. They sent a drone first. It scanned the outer hull, floating over the broken armor plates. There were no energy readings. No traps. No signals. The drone made contact. It touched the metal hull with a magnetic claw and began cutting into the side. Nothing happened. For 3 full seconds, then the lights came on, not dim lights. Not flickers. But full, bright blue battle lighting across the length of the entire ship. The drone's feed went black. Their sensors overloaded. Every screen inside the Telari ship turned red. Energy spike. The tech shouted. "Something's powering up." Uran's eyes widened. "Move us back. Now." But it was too late. The ancient human battleship, after 5,000 years of silence, opened its eyes again. A low hum began to grow. A sound so deep and old it made every Telari on the ship feel it in their bones. Not just hear it, but feel it. On the main screen, the massive ship started to shift. Its front weapons, huge rail cannons the size of city blocks, turned slowly toward the Telari ship. "This is not a wreck," whispered Uran. "It's waiting." The AI inside the human ship had no voice. No mercy. It didn't ask for reasons. It didn't care who had touched it. Long ago, its crew had died in battle. But its final orders were clear: remain hidden. Wake only when touched. And destroy any who disturbed the silence. A deep light charged within the cannon barrel. The Telari crew screamed for engines. But the human weapon fired before they moved. A kilometer. In silence, their ship turned to fire and gas. Across the galaxy, a long dormant signal burst into space. Old Earth codes. Ancient warning beacons. The humans were silent for 5,000 years. Now, the ruins were speaking again, and the galaxy would remember why it once feared Earth. The signal spreads. The explosion was silent in the vacuum of space, but sensors from nearby systems caught it instantly. One moment, the Telari salvage ship was there. The next, it was gone. Nothing left but drifting particles and twisted metal. But the blast wasn't the most shocking thing. It was the signal that followed. From the heart of the ancient human battleship, a pulse of data spread out in every direction. It wasn't a message in words. It was raw code. Old Earth military code, encrypted, complex, and powerful. Something only the oldest machines might still understand, and those machines did wake. Across the galaxy, in the cold storage vaults of forgotten stations, lights blinked on. Rusted satellites began to turn. Abandoned human defense platforms, long thought dead, suddenly pulsed with life. Some empires tried to decode the signal. The Varnari Union's top scientists studied it in their command tower. The best decryption minds gathered in silence. As the code unfolded, the room grew colder. "This is not a distress call," one of them said. The lead analyst, a gray-skinned Varnari elder, narrowed his eyes. "What is it, then?" The younger one swallowed hard. "It's an alert. A reactivation protocol. Earth's sleeping fleets were ordered to stay hidden. But now, the seal has broken. What seal? The answer came as another part of the code played out, a file buried deep within the message. A video, old footage flickered on their screens. Grainy, black and white. A human admiral standing before a vast war table. His voice was calm, steady. If this message is playing, the admiral said, then the ship known as Judgment's Reach has been touched. This means Earth has either fallen, or the enemy is foolish enough to disturb what we buried. To those who find this, leave. Do not awaken what sleeps. You have been warned. The screen went black. For the Varnara Council, this changed everything. They quickly sent word to the Galactic Forum. Emergency meetings were called. Messages flew across light years. Every major power wanted to know the same thing: is Earth alive? The humans had disappeared 5,000 years ago after a war known only in fragments, spoken of in fear and rumor. Some believed Earth had been destroyed. Others thought they had hidden themselves from the galaxy, but no one expected Earth's old war machines to still function. And no one expected one to wake up now. Far away, in a quiet corner of space, a cargo ship passed near an old relay station. The captain, a young trader named Lyra, looked up as her ship's console began to flash. She frowned. What is that? She asked. Her co-pilot leaned forward. Looks like human code. Very old. Shouldn't be active. Lyra squinted at the signal, then froze. Her heart pounded. I've seen this before, she whispered. That's a Judgment-class command code. My grandmother showed me records of them. She said they could destroy fleets alone. Why would one activate now? Lyra didn't answer. She just stared at the map as it updated in front of them, red warning beacons lighting up in every direction. Back at the Galactic Forum, leaders of 100 species gathered. Tension filled the Great Hall. The speaker of the Thari Empire stood, his voice cold and dismissive. This is nothing more than ancient tech waking by accident. Earth is dead. Their threats are empty. But one voice disagreed. It came from the back, an old ambassador, wrinkled and quiet. His species had once fought the humans and barely survived. You are wrong, he said. That ship didn't fire by chance. It followed orders. Human orders. Which means something still controls it, or programmed it so well that it still obeys. He looked around the room slowly. We should have erased their war machines long ago. But we didn't. He paused. And now we must prepare. Meanwhile, Judgment's Reach drifted slowly in orbit, fully active once more. Its engines hadn't lit yet. But its cannons were online. Its AI was awake. And inside its metal walls, the core system searched, not for enemies, but for orders, and far across space. Earth's old command beacon blinked to life. The humans had heard the call, and now they were coming. Earth stirs again in the far edge of the Orion cluster, deep inside a forgotten system. Earth still existed, but it was not the Earth that once ruled the stars. It had changed, quiet, hidden, surrounded by thick sensor fields and defense layers no outsider could break. The last transmission had been sent 5,000 years ago, and since then, Earth said nothing, until now. Inside a control room buried under miles of rock, an old operator named Drew sat alone. He had sat there his whole life, watching silent screens. Most days, nothing happened, but today, a light blinked red. The code was ancient, something he had never seen activate before. It came from a Judgment-class ship. The name of the ship flashed on screen. Judgment's Reach, Protocol. Awakened. Drew stared for a long time, then he reached for a dusty key. The lights in the room flickered as power flowed into old machines. Walls opened, revealing screens that hadn't lit in centuries. Holograms of star maps, battle formations, and ship routes filled the room. A female voice echoed softly. Judgment Protocol confirmed. Earth Fleet standby mode disengaged. Strategic core online. Drew swallowed and whispered. They touched it. Across the hidden vaults of the Sol system, more lights came on. Massive doors opened in the Martian canyons. On Jupiter's moons, deep storage bays began to shake as engines roared back to life. Human warships, huge, black, and silent, rose again. Some still had the names of their old crews etched into the hulls. Some had waited alone in ice, covered. In dust and forgotten history, but they all shared one thing: they had never truly powered down. Now, they answered the call. Back on the other side of the galaxy, panic was growing. The Galactic Forum's top members met again. The room buzzed with fear, arguments, and confusion. Everyone wanted answers, but no one had them. The Azara Chancellor slammed a clawed hand on the table. Why wasn't this ship destroyed after the last war? The archivist, a quiet, feathered alien, responded calmly: because no one could destroy it. Every fleet that tried vanished. The silence that followed was heavy, and now asked a smaller ambassador from the Kellan tribes. What do we do now? No one answered. Finally, an old diplomat stood. He had 4 arms, silver skin, and eyes that had seen centuries of war. We remember stories of Earth's judgment fleet, he said. Ships that were never meant for peace. They were the last line, built only for extinction-level threats. He looked around the room slowly. If they're waking, then Earth believes the galaxy is a threat again. But we didn't attack them, another shouted. The old diplomat shook his head. You didn't have to. You disturbed what they buried. To the human code, that's the same as war. Meanwhile, on a small station near the wreck, a rescue ship arrived. They had come looking for the Telari explorers. What they found was horror. The rescue crew scanned the area and found nothing but melted debris. The signal from Judgment's reach still pulsed. The ship itself was silent now, but its weapons remained aimed outward. The rescue captain, a young officer named Marek, tried to hail the human ship. This is the Raxan aid vessel Hopewind. We come in peace. We are unarmed. No reply. He tried again. We only seek to collect survivors. Please confirm that you do not consider us hostile. Still, no response. The ship just sat there, watching them. Should we send a drone? One of the crew asked. Marek shook his head. No. That's what started this. He turned the ship around. We leave. We report. We warn. Because something inside Marek told him the truth. This wasn't just a ship. It was a warning. Back on Earth, Drew stood before a giant monitor. On it, a new alert began flashing. Command signal confirmed. Human fleet is returning to formation. Awaiting strategic orders. Behind him, the Earth fleet commander arrived. She looked tired, but ready. Her voice was cold and clear. Open secure channel to Judgment's reach. Drew obeyed. She leaned forward, speaking into the system. Welcome back. Stand by for reconnect ion. Earth remembers. Far away, in the deep black of space, Judgment's reach pulsed once. It had heard, and the galaxy had just days left before the humans arrived. The enemy remembers. In a dark, massive chamber on the edge of the galaxy, the Yovari High Command gathered. Their skin was smooth and pale, their voices low but sharp. They were old, older than most species, and they remembered Earth. Not from books. Not from tales. But from war. The Yovari had once tried to conquer the stars. Their fleets were unmatched. Until they met the humans, they didn't forget the day Earth's fleet arrived. Only 20 ships. 20 against 1,000. And only Earth's ships came out alive. Now, they had just received a report. One of their scouts had touched an ancient wreck, and it had responded. A general spoke first. It was Judgment's reach. The last of the human war arcs. A commander hissed. Impossible. That ship was destroyed. No, said the general. It was buried. Hidden. Just like Earth itself. They watched the footage. The Telari vessel approaching, making contact, and vanishing in one flash of fire. Then came the signal. That old, terrible code. They've awakened their war fleet, the general said. A long silence followed. Then the Yovari War Master stood. If Earth's fleet is returning, then we must prepare. We must strike before they gather. But do you want to fight them again? Asked another. The War Master didn't answer for a moment. No, he finally said. I want to make sure they never reach us. Meanwhile, across different systems, humans began to appear again. Not many. Just one here, one there. Deep sleep pods activated in old colonies. Cryo chambers opened inside forgotten stations. Soldiers, some thought long dead, woke up to the sound of war once more. One such man was Ryan. He opened his eyes to find frost still on his lashes. His body was stiff. The lights in his chamber turned blue as old systems scanned his vitals. He sat up and looked around. Dust covered everything. Screens blinked with ancient codes, then he heard the voice. Ryan. Judgment protocol has been activated. Judgment's reach has awakened. Earth has called. Prepare for combat re-entry. He took a deep breath. 5,000 years, he whispered. I thought we'd never be needed again. He stood, stretched, and moved toward the army. Old weapons. Heavy armor. But still functional, just like him, and he was not the only one. Earth had hidden not just ships, but people. Elite warriors. Trained captains. Tactical minds. Cryosleepers scattered across space. Now, all were waking, and they all remembered their orders. Wait until the signal. Then return. No mercy. Back near Judgment's reach, something new was happening. The ship had turned, not its weapons, but its engines. They roared to life, shaking the very space around it. Massive thrusters lit up, blue fire spilling out into the stars. The ship began to move, slow at first, then faster. Its path was direct. It was heading toward a known jump gate, the same kind used before Earth went silent. Inside the ship, the AI mapped the galaxy. It updated its war log. It searched for old enemies, marked targets, and confirmed Earth's coordinates. The plan was simple: return home. Regroup. Reclaim control. In the Galactic Forum, chaos ruled. Some species wanted to beg Earth for peace, others wanted to build new fleets. A few wanted to surrender now, before the humans even arrived. The Speaker of the Council stood and shouted, we must agree on one path. Divided, we fall. But someone answered from the edge of the hall, a tall figure in a long dark cloak. His voice was calm. You had 5,000 years to prepare, he said. Instead, you forgot. Everyone turned to look. He pulled down his hood. He was human. An old one. Grey hair, strong eyes. A deep scar ran across his cheek. Gasps filled the chamber. Some reached for weapons. Others stood frozen. He raised his hand slowly. I am not here for war, he said. I am here to warn you. The Judgment's reach has awakened. And that means Earth is moving again. He looked around the hall. You can choose to talk. Or you can choose to run. He paused. But whatever you do, don't try to stop us. In space, Earth's ancient battle fleet gathered, dark ships with names like Retribution, Endlight, and Silent Storm, and far ahead, Judgment's reach led the way, its weapons ready, its mind set. The galaxy had been quiet for too long. Now, the silence was broken, and ruin followed. The return of Earth's voice. The great jump gate near Sector 13 had not been used in thousands of years. Covered in debris, floating beside a shattered moon, it was forgotten by most. But now, the rings of the gate glowed blue as massive energy surged through it. Judgment's reach came first, its metal body hummed with ancient power. Cannons locked. Armor restored. Engines burning brighter than ever. Then came the rest, Earth's hidden war fleet. Dozens of black ships exited behind it. They didn't fly like other vessels. They moved like predators, silent, controlled, and dangerous. Each one had a name etched in steel. Names like Iron Will, No Forgiveness, Echo of Fire, and Ash Remains. They didn't send greetings, they didn't broadcast identity codes, they just moved with purpose toward Earth. On Earth, the skies had changed. Satellites long dead now flickered with light. The moon bases lit their runways. Mars relay towers echoed commands once more. Earth's home defenses, untouched for centuries, activated with a whisper of long-lost code. Deep in a hidden command vault, Commander Ellen stood at a console. The hologram in front of her showed incoming signals. One by one, ships were checking in. Captains reporting, fleets aligning. She tapped a button, the screen changed, showing the lead vessel, Judgment's reach. She spoke clearly, this is Earth Command. You are clear to land in orbit Ring Delta. Welcome home. The voice that responded wasn't human. It was synthetic. Cold. Calm. Judgment's reach reporting. Fleet awake. Protocol 7 complete. Awaiting strategic orders. Commander Allen stared at the screen for a moment. All crews accounted for. Human crew, none. AI command maintained. Cryo units activated galaxy-wide. Reinforcements arriving. Understood. She looked to her officers, begin full reconnect ion. The fleet is back. Meanwhile, across The stars' panic spread faster than light. The races of the Galactic Forum couldn't agree on what to do. Some species prepared for defense. Others sent messages begging for peace. A few even tried to flee to unknown sectors. The Yovari, however, decided to strike first. Their fleets had grown stronger over the last millennia. Faster ships, upgraded weapons, smarter tactics. They gathered a fleet of 300 warships near the Kuros expanse, the direct path between Earth's return route and the outer colonies. The Yovari plan was simple: intercept Earth's fleet before it could fully regroup, destroy Judgment's reach, then scatter the rest. A Yovari admiral, cold and confident, gave the final order: no survivors. But they didn't know what Judgment class meant. Back in the deep black, Earth's fleet picked up the incoming ships. Commander Ellen watched from the ground. "They are sending a warning," said her aide. "Yovari fleet. 300 ships." Ellen didn't blink. "Let them." She tapped the console. "Activate Judgment's reach primary weapon." For above, inside the ship, long tubes began to glow. Giant spinning cores charged as the vessel slowed its movement. The Yovari didn't wait. Their ships fired first: lasers, torpedoes, plasma rounds, hundreds of strikes aimed at the lead ship, but the blasts hit a glowing field and vanished. The AI voice from Judgment's reach echoed: "Enemy hostile. Clearance granted. Executing directive, planet killer response." The ship's front opened slowly. A cannon unfolded, massive and bright. In one pulse, the Yovari fleet vanished, not disabled, not damaged. Erased. In one silent moment, everything near the Kuros expanse turned white, then black. The galaxy paused, and it remembered fear. Back on Earth, old military bases began reopening. The people came out of hiding. The elders told stories to the young about the time when Earth burned the stars. About a time when war meant silence. Ellen stood before the War Council. She gave her report. "We are no longer hidden," she said. "We are no longer quiet. The fleets know we are here. The galaxy will respond." One council member asked, "Then what is Earth's next move?" Ellen looked up at the sky. She answered with only 2 words: "We finish it." In deep space, other ancient ships began to wake. Earth had not hidden just one fleet. There were more, buried in gas giants, locked in sun cores, hidden behind false moons. The galaxy thought humans were gone, but humans had just been waiting, and now they were back. The reckoning begins. The galaxy trembled. News of the Yovari fleet's destruction spread like wildfire. Entire systems went silent. Emergency messages flooded the Galactic Forum. Planets began preparing evacuation routes. Trade routes shut down. Armies mobilized, but nothing could stop what was coming. Judgment's reach now stood at the edge of old Terran space, guarding the entrance like a titan. Behind it, hundreds of Earth warships moved into formation. One by one, more cryosleepers awoke. More captains, more soldiers, more minds built for war, and in their eyes, no hate. No anger, only duty. In the Galactic Forum, chaos ruled. Some members demanded Earth be declared an enemy. Others wanted to send envoys, hoping to make peace. A few screamed for help from powers beyond the stars, anyone who might challenge Earth's return, but they were too late. Earth wasn't asking questions, Earth wasn't waiting. The silence was over. Commander Ellen stood on the bridge of Earth's new flagship, Soul's Judgment, a sister ship to Judgment's reach, activated after the first attack. A screen lit up in front of her. A signal was coming through. It wasn't from Earth, it was from a small colony world called Kresh. A small boy appeared on the screen. Frightened. Eyes wide. "Please, we didn't do anything. We are just a farming world. Why are the warships coming?" Ellen stared at the child's face for a long time. She turned to her communications officer. "Are there any threats on that world?" "None. It's clean." She nodded. "Send a message. Assure the people of Kresh that we are not here to destroy them. But they must stand down. Earth controls this space now." Then she paused and sent food. Ellen's voice softened. "If they are still calling for help, they are not our enemy." Not all were lucky. In a nearby system, a pirate fleet tried to ambush one of Earth's scout ships. They believed the humans were still weak. Still rebuilding. They were wrong. The scout ship, a small vessel named Raven Light, responded in seconds. Its guns weren't big, but they were fast. Accurate. precise. The pirates didn't even get off a second shot. Their ships were reduced to sparks and floating wreckage. The wreckage was left untouched for others to see. A warning. Meanwhile, judgments. Reach continued scanning the galaxy. Its AI had evolved. Over 5,000 years alone, it had learned more than its creators ever imagined. It had studied every signal, every echo, every ship that passed near it. And now, it had one goal: to restore balance, not through peace, but through power. It sent signals to the old stations buried in black holes. It activated long-range beacons near forgotten wormholes. And most importantly, it searched for a name, the one who gave the order to touch the hull. It didn't want revenge. It wanted completion. Back in the Galactic Forum, an emergency message arrived from the Telari survivors, those who never boarded the wreck, but stayed behind in a second vessel. Their report was shaky, but clear. We didn't know what it was. We thought it was dead. We touched it because we wanted to learn. We didn't mean to wake it. We didn't mean to wake Earth. The forum fell silent. For once, there was no shouting. No blame. Only fear, because now, everyone realized the humans didn't start this. They were just finishing what others began. Inside a ship near Earth, Ryan, the soldier who had awoken from cryosleep, watched the stars pass by. He stood in full armor now, clean and ready. He held a data pad in his hand, reading his mission orders, but his thoughts were far away. He remembered the First War. He remembered the screams, the betrayal, the fire that turned worlds to ash, and he remembered the moment Earth decided to sleep, not because it was tired, but because it didn't want to destroy again. He sighed. They never learn. His ship moved toward the next system, another patrol, another chance to show the galaxy why Earth had once ruled everything, and why, now, it would again. Across thousands of light years, old human warning beacons continued to flash. Do not approach. Do not touch. This vessel is protected by Earth command. Violators will be erased. But no one listened before, and now, it was too late. Earth reclaims the stars above Earth. The black ships hovered like silent mountains. Judgment's Reach stood in the center, its lights calm now, its weapons on standby. The war fleet, once hidden, was now fully awake, repaired, fueled, and synchronized to Earth. Had returned, but it had not come to it had come to lead. Inside Earth's War Council chamber, Commander Ellen faced the other high officers. All systems report green, said one. Our patrols are active. Communications are stable. The forum is quiet. Ellen nodded. And the Yovari? Silent. No new movements since the fleet strike. Good. She turned toward a large screen showing the galaxy map. Half of it was shaded gray, uncharted or uncontrolled regions. The rest was split among different powers. None of them belonged to Earth, but that was changing. We are not here to destroy them all, Ellen said firmly. We are here to remind them. The peace we gave was not weakness. The silence we kept was not surrender. And now, she raised her hand, we move forward. Across the stars, Earth's message arrived on every major channel. It was simple, just a voice. We have awakened. This galaxy is no longer lawless. You will not touch what is not yours. You will not harm the innocent. You will not forget Earth's hand in building this peace. We do not seek war. But if war is brought to us, we will end it. The response from the galaxy came slowly. Some races sent gifts. Apologies. Old debts repaid with cargo ships full of supplies and rare minerals. Others opened trade routes they had once closed. The wise ones remembered history and acted accordingly, but not all were wise. In a distant sector, a powerful warlord named Cregan gathered a fleet. He did not believe the stories. He laughed at the warnings. He thought Earth was using tricks and old machines to spread fear. He decided to strike Earth itself. His ships reached the edge of Terran space. They never got further. Judgments Reach intercepted them alone. It didn't speak. It didn't wait. It acted. What followed was not a battle. It was a message carved in fire and silence. Back on Earth, Ryan walked through the halls of the old academy, now reopened for the first time in millennia. Young recruits, fresh from colonies and old cryopods, walked in tight lines, wearing grey and black. He stopped at a window, watching the training grounds. They are not ready yet, said a voice beside him. It was Ellen. Neither were we, once, Ryan replied. She nodded. But they will be. They stood in silence, then Ellen said, "We can't sleep again, can we?" "No," Ryan said. "Not this time." "Then we keep watch." "Yes," he agreed. "And if they ever forget who we are," he looked up at the sky, "we'll remind them." In the far reaches of space, deep beyond known star charts, Earth's old outposts blinked back to life. Human ships docked. Engineers returned. Drones rebuilt. The systems once abandoned were claimed again, not by war, but by presence. Earth wasn't just waking up. It was building, preparing, not to conquer, but to ensure no species, old or new, ever made the mistake of thinking humans were gone, because now, the galaxy knew, you don't touch a sleeping lion, and you never touch a human battleship, not if you want your stars to stay bright. Asterisk.